Seasoner
and Co.
Welcome to
Second-Hand Haunting,
where we read second-hand ghost stories out of a second-hand book I got from a second-hand shop and try and make sense of them.
Fun of them.
Sense of them?
Fun of them.
Sense of them.
Fun. What you got for us today?
Well, Ollie, I've got a guest for us.
Hello.
Hey, Steph. Welcome to the show.
Howdy.
I like how you actually got the cup for the show as well.
I couldn't find another one that matched ours, so why not try and plug the show that we're on to the guest that is on it.
To the audience that we definitely have. Yeah.
Keep an eye on our Patreon that doesn't exist for a shop page that won't exist for cups that only exist for me and Ollie.
Perfect. It sounds like the best marketing strategy I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's working so far.
Why do you not already have a merch store? We should get on that.
I think everyone would be disappointed.
I love the design, actually. I'm a big fan. Not to, talk up the design too much, which I didn't do. So, because Amber...
No, I didn't do it either. That was, my wife. That's Amber Patrick, who's been on the show a couple times. And does not have a mug.
Oh, no. I feel like of all people, she should definitely have a mug.
Tell you what, Amber, if you're listening, send us an email. Links in the description. But to get back to your earlier question, Ollie, what I have for you is 2 books today. We have seen them both before. The first is Ghost Stories of the Old West by Dan Asfar, or Ghostly County Durham by Rob Kirkup.
I'm pretty partial to the Western stories. They're quite funny.
Yes, and Steph, your introduction to us was to say howdy, so I'm feeling like maybe you might be leaning towards some cowboy ghosts as well.
I fear that you're completely correct. You're 100% right with that.
Alright, sorry haunted English castles, you're too boring.
Well, cliches, right? I want Old West. I want things that are going to be pretty chaotic.
Alright, let's do it.
I even love the cover, the ghostly horseman.
With the
lightning in the background.
With the suspicious silhouette.
Suspicious?
Don't look at the
picture. I feel like we got it at the same time there.
That wasn't even an episode of What the Fuck Was That, but there you go.
It's always nice to have extra people on the show, to bounce the stories around.
And to correct my pronunciation. Look, I've done my best, but I am not particularly well versed in Native American or Mexican, so I guess Spanish language and pronunciation.
Sure.
But I'll do what I can.
Is there a lot of Spanish in this?
Well, it's the Old West. Yeah.
Si.
Excelente.
Is that a word?
Si. Okay, the story we've got today is titled Ghost Riders of the Neches River.
No, I'm already in just on that title alone.
Mm-hmm.
Which part is drawing you in, the Ghost Riders or the river?
Like, it's a bit of both, but I'm going to say mostly the Ghost Riders.
Yeah, fair enough.
It feels like that. Is it Ghost Rider car? Is that the car?
The guy on the motorbike? Or?
Yeah.
Burning Head.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. This is why I'm interested in it too.
No, stop thinking about that. You're going to be terribly disappointed.
No. I want burning heads, okay?
Oddly enough, I think there is a story where someone gets burnt to death, but it's not this one.
Oh, nice.
It's something to look forward to.
Maybe. 8 cowboys sat on impatient horses, squinting through the blazing mid-afternoon light at the lone farmhouse on the plain. They were sore, tired, and in bad humour, each of them festering over the ugly truth of the upcoming months. A long stretch of hard, dusty days which would end only after they had driven their herd of 3,000 Texas Longhorn to the stockyards in Abilene, Kansas. But if the thought of the trail ahead did little to cheer their prickly dispositions, the sight of the small wooden house before them roused an even uglier ire.
At first I thought you were talking about the horses themselves, and then it took me a little while. I was like, no, surely horses aren't that deep.
Yeah, it does say that the horses were impatient.
Yeah.
And I guess if there's one emotion that a horse could feel, I can believe it's impatience.
Definitely.
I mean, just the ways their ears will flick around when you have flies. It's just impatience. Yeah.
kicking up their hooves.
Yeah. Swishing tails.
That's quite the visualization.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a picture, but it's not of horses. Have you guys... What's the most amount of cows that you've ever seen at once?
Do you know, one time, I remember going running in the country, down south in South Australia.
Okay.
And I ran past like a cow paddock, and then they started like running along with me. And I had like the cows were, like
so
jogging
good.
along with me as I was going along. It was quite a few at the time. I think it was like, I don't know, it felt like maybe 20, 25, something along those lines. One of the cutest things that's ever happened to me.
I was going to say, that sounds cute, but I think what you've accidentally done is started a stampede.
Ah, right, sure.
Generally not favourable.
I was going to say, it sounds powerful. Like, you just...
Powerful.
Started...
Jumped right in there. I loved it.
Sorry. You were saying?
Well, that you started a stampede, probably. Just by running alongside them.
But I stopped, and they stopped too, and they looked at me.
Oh, okay. Oh, now it's adorable.
Is it adorable again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not vegetarian, and it makes it less adorable.
Food.
Like, you're adorable, but I may eat you later.
There's some foods I would consider adorable.
Sure. I mean, I do like plants, and I eat them, so, same difference, right?
Yeah. Except you don't have to herd 3,000 plants across a plain to get them to
Okay, so I don't think I've seen 3,000 cows.
No, I can't fathom that many cows. Do that many cows even exist?
Surely not. No.
No.
Not in the whole world.
I've eaten a lot of burgers though, so they must.
Well, they don't have to all exist at once.
Good point. I hope they don't. Farmers and cowboys were natural enemies during the early days of the range. Cattlemen depended on the unobstructed expanse of plains to drive their herds from their grazing grounds in Texas to the cans and cattle towns. But ambitious homesteaders saw the same tract as potential farmland. Now, I'm not a huge Wild West buff in terms of movies, fiction, and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And reading this story was the first I realised why cowboys probably had such a terrifying reputation.
What made you realise that?
Outlaws and ruffians, that, of course, because they're going to be trying to drive their cattle through someone else's property.
Less laws, less people to enforce them, more disease.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Lower life expectations. I feel like there's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It's like we're on the farm already, right?
That's true. I never thought about that, actually.
Yeah.
Just like really annoying people that cause nuisances, but they also have guns and could probably shoot you. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably did shoot quite a few people, in fact.
Yeah.
I think you find they have another weapon at their disposal, which you might not realise. And this story is going to explain what that is.
It's their wit.
Yeehaw! So as far as these 8 cowboys were concerned, the innocent-looking farmhouse on the bank of the Texas Neches River was a personal attack on their livelihood. And you can kind of understand that too, right? They've got a job to do and some dickhead's just going to put a house in the way.
Bastards.
Yeah. I mean, there's the third faction here who's pissed off at both of them, but they're not going to come into this story. This story in the chapter actually called Cowboys and Indians, so... The 8 men looked at the solitary farmhouse for long moments as the enormous herd of cattle gathered behind them. 4 more cowboys rode up from the rear of the herd, their bandanas tied up around their faces, and their clothes caked with dust and sweat. Alright, there's actually some quotes in this one. Do you want me to attempt a cowboy accent?
I always do.
Yeah. I would love to hear it.
Oh.
I have low expectations, though, so,
Yeah, you're
I
right.
have very high expectations, alright.
What's the hold-up? One of the 4 riders asked. The trail boss spit his tobacco into the Neches River and nodded at the homestead ahead. Looks like some sodbuster decided to set up. Now, if you didn't catch that word under that terrible accent, he's called the homesteader a sodbuster.
I was gonna ask. That sounded like you said sodbuster, and I was like,
Yep.
Is there soap involved?
No.
Are people blowing bubbles? Like, what is happening right now?
I did, however, love the accent, for the record.
You might be the only one, but I appreciate it.
What's a sodbuster? A sodbuster? Sodbuster.
A sodbuster.
Busting sods.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who's ploughing the land and breaking up sods of dirt.
Right, okay. I thought of like a sod as like a person, like, being a sod, and then they were busting them.
I assume that...
Not very familiar with land sods myself.
Land sods?
Is that what you said?
Land sods?
Isn't that what you said? There's like sods in the land they're busting up?
Yeah.
What?
Land sods, otherwise known as just sods.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was another sod.
Making a note here, because normally I find my favourite word from the text, but land sod is the forerunner.
Happy to oblige.
So the implication being that this guy has planted a farm. Like, it's not just cattle land anymore. Mm-hmm. It's been developed. Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 of the cowpunchers uttered curses under their breaths. Do I need to explain what a cowpuncher is?
Someone who punches cows.
Yeah, I think you've got it.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, it's no wonder they had a bad relationship.
Man, you could really get a good workout in just punching a cow. Just going at it, Just really pounding that beef.
I'm rather glad that we have the slightly more sanitised term of cowpoke these days.
Love how you managed to work in pound that beef, though. Like, that was good.
Another man fiddled with the handle of his shooting iron. Oh, do I need to explain what a shooting iron is?
It's a gun.
Yes! 2 points to Ollie.
Nailed it.
Well, what the hell are we going to do about this? One of the masked riders asked the trail boss. This man's fence goes as far as I can see.
That's a pretty big offence. Yeah.
Before I move on, I'll just quickly show you the picture we have for today's episode. It's not quite a what the fuck is this, because it's just actually rather a nice picture of a man on a horse and some cows.
Cows that he will punch later.
Nice. Yeah. I expect
those-
some punching.
Beautiful sunset. Are they all bulls?
Possibly. Well, they're all Texas Longhorns.
Oh, okay.
And I guess only the bulls do have horns.
You know what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, a expert in the field of longhorn cattle, so I can't say. I just thought that cows didn't have horns, and that seems like a lot of bulls if that is the case.
Oh dear. Despite having a passing interest in the production of beef animals and dairy herds, I apparently was ignorant of the fact that both male and female cattle can grow horns. This is not the extent of my ignorance either, a fact which will become clear momentarily. I think normally you end up with about 50-50 bulls and... What's a female cow called?
A steer.
Really?
Is that right?
Do you want me to Google it?
It's probably right.
Wait. Is it just cow?
Maybe.
It might be
I
just
feel
cow.
I feel like it is just a cow. But
Ollie, what do you got?
Mature female cattle are called cows.
Okay.
And mature male cattle are bulls.
There you go.
yeah.
I feel like I'm back in primary school already.
Oh dear, that one might be edited out. But I
But
feel like...
you saw something that I often do, though. Like, sometimes, even though if I'm not completely sure of something, I will just say it with utter confidence nonetheless.
I look up a lot for this show. I didn't think to look up what is a female cow called. Possibly because past Callum knows it's called a cow.
Once again, the pause. Just
No, they have
double-checking.
hoofs.
All right. Okay.
And horns, specifically in this picture.
Now I've just got a mental image of a cow with paws, which is not normal. It's not good.
It's kind of half adorable, half horrifying.
Yeah.
As it turns out, a steer is a young male cattle. Cow. Young male cow.
Bull?
Yes, that's right. Young male bull. And the cow goes.
This is the point that we're at already.
We are one page into this, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm still trying to explain the differences between a boy cow and a girl cow. But I think they generally keep the female cows on the farm to make milk and more cows.
Yep.
Whereas the bulls get taken to market, shall we
I
say.
don't think that's true, but like that's fine. We don't have to go into that.
Surely it depends on the... Now we're just getting into it. Surely
Yeah.
it depends on the farm, right?
It probably depends on quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that explains why there's a preponderance of horns in that herd of cows. Either way.
There were a lot of horns.
Damn these dirt diggers, the wrangler next to the trail boss growled as he looked down the length of the fence. I reckon we ought to teach this man a lesson. The cowboys were silent, dwelling over fantasies of punishment, when the farmer came striding out of his home.
That's a worry. Fantasies of punishment.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Just sitting there thinking about it. That's
Yeah, I usually do that at home in private.
Is that what you think this farmer's been doing? It?
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to punish that sod tomorrow.
That's a particular type of fetish.
No.
But
No! Is anyone familiar with the poet laureate of the West?
no,
no.
No, good.
not good on
You
lightness.
need to explain this.
No, I don't. It's Andy Daly's character Dalton Wilcox, the poet laureate of the West,
Okay.
on various podcast appearances and his own show, where he waxes lyrical about his frequently physical love of the land.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know what?
And look, Andy Daly's a goddamn comedic genius. I wish I could match him. There's no way. Just go look up anything Andy Daly's been on.
Probably 1 in every 100.
After finishing this one.
Sure,
After finishing this podcast.
All right. Let's get back into it.
Let's do it. Obviously scared and angry, the man was brandishing a double-barrel Remington and sporting all sorts of unflattering epithets to the cattlemen, promising the worst to each and every one if they didn't turn their herd around.
I know it just speaks to me being a female, but Remington is a brand of like hair straighteners.
Yes, it is.
And I just really was thinking of that.
Well,
He's just holding, like, whirling around 2 hair straighteners.
Used to be a shooting iron,
Yeah.
now it's a curling iron.
Same thing, right?
To say, I reckon that would be the humble beginnings of the...
I legitimately don't know if they have anything to do with each other. I'm not going to look it up. Listener, if you know, email us. The link's in the description.
Have we gotten through like a solid 2 pages now?
Not even 1.5.
Nice.
Okay, I got curious. So the Remington personal care brand did in fact begin as part of an offshoot of the Remington Arms Company, but through an exhausting series of corporate mergers, acquisitions and sell-offs is no longer associated with the arms manufacturer. None of the riders was in the least bit impressed by this show of bravado. The desperation boiling beneath all was too apparent. They stared through the fence at the livid farmer for a few moments longer before the trail boss gave his order. Let's run this fool over. Flicking the reins of his horse, the trail boss cast one look at the men in his outfit before galloping to the back of the herd. Not one of them hesitated. Taking their positions around the cattle, the cowboys quickly ripped the herd into an agitated frenzy. The farmer, realizing what was about to happen, ran back into his home, desperately urging his family to get out. But by then, it was too late. I take it you guys have figured out what's about to happen.
No.
No?
Do you?
It's a whole bunch of angry bulls, right?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of angry bulls.
With a family in a house.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the next moment, the entire herd burst through the farmer's fence. The homesteader emerged from his house again and managed to empty both barrels of his shotgun into the oncoming stampede just before he was trampled.
Nice.
Probably better off running, really. Like, give it a shot.
Instead, he gave it a shotgun.
Kind of like the scene in The Lion King, right? Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was a reach. Mufasa!
Look,
So many listeners are going to have trauma from it.
I will point out that this is a ghost story, not Hamlet.
I would literally watch The Lion King more often if it wasn't for that first scene. Like, I know it's coming up. I mean, I guess I could just fast forward.
No, you monster.
Yeah, it sets
you need
the
to
tone.
feel the emotions. Mm-hmm. The herd went over him and stormed toward his one-room farmhouse, where his wife and 2 children were huddled together in terror, their whispered supplications to a merciful God drowned out by the roar of the stampeding beasts. When the herd hit the house, beams, planks, and glass came apart like so many cards and matchsticks. In a few short minutes, the entire homestead was reduced to a flattened pile of debris. None survived.
Just the sounds of the farm, don't worry about it.
Not even your little dog, too.
It's not a bull in a china shop, it's a stampede in a family home.
In, on, around, through a home.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do tell ghost stories, but we have a tendency to, like, talk about how the ghosts were made.
Yeah. Sometimes the story explains it, other times, good luck. I'll give props to Dan Asfar here for really setting the scene for what becomes a ghost.
So is it going to predict that it would be like a whole family of ghosts that would be...
Ooh, do you want to try and predict what the ghost is at this point? I like it.
Well, I'm going to say the whole family, you know, like
Yeah.
together.
Surely, it'd have to be.
Yeah.
Steph, you're agreeing?
Yeah.
Yes, the family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe some of them aren't going to be as angry as others. You know, maybe the farmer, the dad, the guy, will be more angry than others. And
it sounds like it.
yeah.
If I say Powerpuff Girls, who's familiar?
Of course I am.
Oh, I mean, it's hard to recall an episode, but I know the concept.
What's the name of that guy who lives out in the woods? Get off of my property!
Oh my god.
Fuzzy Wumpkins or something?
Yeah. It's I can't remember exactly what it is, but that was a very good, it's got to be close to that.
Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Don't trespassers. I'll get anyone or anything that gets on my property.
Anyway, that's what I'm now picturing for this farmer.
Yeah.
Get off of my property!
According to legend, not one of the cowboys expressed an iota of remorse at this inhuman deed. They arrived in Abilene early that fall, whooping it up with the rest of the Texas cowpunchers at Trail's End.
Oh, do we reckon the guy is going to go and murder all the cowboys?
I think it's a High Plains Drifter Pale Rider situation.
One can only hope.
Oh god, I wish any of these people were played by Clint Eastwood. Instead I've got Fuzzy Wumpkins in my head. What have I done? What is my life?
You have only yourself to blame.
I know!
Oh, darn it! Anyone else want to try and get on my property?
Some of them even bragged about the incident to their Confederates, throwing back whiskey and laughing about the look on the ploughman's face when their steers crashed through his fence. It became the story of the season around the saloons that year, providing the men of that outfit with a morbid cachet among many of their hard-hearted companions. Staying on in Abilene for just over a month, the cowboys remained until the awe and envy lavished on them by their fellow Texans began to thin out.
Sometimes I think about like the idea of like that sort of like I feel like I've got a dark sense of humor, but certainly not morbid. And I think that it's like it's interesting.
Ollie, what podcast are you on?
But no,
what do you think is happening?
Bear with me. It's funny, like when you hear about like Roman times or you know in the Colosseums, or we're talking about this, where they see that as like a joke. Like I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine that being funny to someone that witnessed it.
Or perpetrated it.
Or perpetrated it. Or both, you know. Like, so I think that it's like a different side of humanity that I'm not even remotely familiar with.
I guess they'd be so desensitized to it. Because surely like there'd be accidents and people dying and people sick just all the time.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I do say that doctors, you know, can sometimes joke about those things, and like I kind of understand that.
Yeah, but doctors, like their number one rule is do no harm.
Sure.
Like if something goes wrong, oh well.
No, but I mean, like they probably see things that would otherwise emotionally affect people, and they probably make fun of it as a way to like you know cope, or because of the desensitization.
I can believe that.
Which I would be perfectly okay with, especially if they're you know doing good, as you say. I mean, obviously in this case, not so much.
No, these guys are just doing business.
That sounds, I mean...
Right?
I kind of respect that business.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You respect that? Just...
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
If it's just people murdering, you can't be like... These
Good
people
for
are...
business.
Yeah. You can't really... what am I trying to say?
Would you like to phrase
Critique.
it in a...
Critique
right.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like it's a different time, and like I don't want to get into that whole idea of like nature or nurture, but we don't know what it would be like to grow up in that environment or whether or not we'd be exactly the same.
I do feel like a particular kind of person gravitates to becoming a cowpuncher. If the job ad is cowpuncher wanted, I'm not signing up for that.
What if you don't know where your next meal is coming from? Maybe it's punching that cow or starvation. So, it's hard to judge.
If I was back then, I might be making some different choices.
You're probably also drunk or on drugs or something.
Sure.
Because of the time as well.
Absolutely steaming 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. So punching cows sounds pretty great. Yeah.
It sounds okay at the best of times. At the worst of times. Oh, whatever. By October, most cowpunchers had gone back to their southern ranches, and Abilene suddenly resembled a slightly overpopulated ghost town. It was then when the cowboys packed up and headed home themselves, and they became aware of the price of their atrocious glory.
I wonder if you get promoted to senior cowpuncher.
You have to meet a quota.
Yeah. I was just like, what if there's a career progression ladder there?
I'm trying to think of what the position title for the next level up of cowpuncher might be, and I cannot think for the life of me of one name it could possibly be that's not horrifically sexual.
Oh, okay. Well, please.
Yeah, we need to hear this now.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Cow slammer.
Just pounding that beef.
Cow pile driver.
Sounds more like football, but yeah, sure.
I mean, cow pounder.
Cow
right?
pounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hailed as heroes in Abilene for 1 month in 1870, the cowboys of that cursed outfit would never enjoy another peaceful moment after they crossed back into their home state. For the rest of their days, they were haunted by horrible visions and nightmares. Terrifying herds of angry bulls with burning eyes, smoking nostrils and sharpened horns stampeded through their dreams, leaving a cloud of burning dust along the blood-red Neches River.
These are some cool cows.
The dead family, decomposed and mutilated, often appeared right in front of them during waking hours, standing silently for a few moments before vanishing into thin air as quickly as they came. So one of you called it at some point that it might be the family.
I feel
that
like
came
we
back-
both called it as
Yeah.
the family. Yeah.
Or one of you said maybe just the farmer, but it's the whole family.
Pretty sure we both said the family. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of hopeful it would be the farmer, but
Okay.
The repeated appearance of these phantasms made the once stalwart cowpunchers into a group of quivering wretches. Unable to work another cattle drive, none of them lived long after they returned to Texas in 1870.
Dysentery.
you have died of dysentery.
We are about to get a list of how they all died.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to stick to your guns? Do you think dysentery's in there?
No.
No?
No. I don't want to predict this one. I'm hoping it's going to be like, the Pharaoh's curse.
I think that was also dysentery.
Oh, right.
It's all dysentery.
Within 5 years, all of them were dead. Causes of death varied, from gunfights to suicide. One man drank himself to death, throwing back the harshest rot gut he could find until his body just gave up. Another, suddenly and inexplicably unable to stomach any morsel of food, simply stopped eating. The trail boss, his pale face frozen into a look of absolute horror, was found face down on the left bank of the Neches River, near the former homestead of the farmer they had killed.
That guy saw some visions.
Yeah.
I think if I was to choose one of them, I'd go with the rot gut, Drink myself to death. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, if any of them, I don't want to just stop eating forever.
Yeah,
That's some pits, that is.
That would be the worst.
I feel like a gunfight would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do the
yeah.
whole quick draw thing.
Yeah.
Go out with a bang.
Exactly.
Like, you realise what was about 12, 13 of them? Like, oh no, we're dying one by one. How about we just do, like, a quick draw competition between all of us? Like, let's end it the quickest and funnest way we know how.
That sounds like a great idea.
That might actually be the plot of The Quick and the Dead. It's been a while.
Ghost to the
But I think that's in there. I think one of the characters is a ghost.
Okay.
Possibly? I don't know.
I've never seen it, so, you can tell me anything.
Oh, rule. It's by Sam Raimi.
Okay.
So he brings like real Evil Dead energy to Wild West.
Oh, okay.
It's
that sounds
fun.
great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So it's like the director or the writer made Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Spider-Man films and Darkman
Okay.
and a bunch of other things that I won't mention because they are not as good.
I think I only liked Evil Dead 2.
That is totally fair.
Good times.
Army of Darkness still rules though.
Oh, yeah, the one where he like goes back in time?
Yeah,
Oh, that was good. Yeah. To be fair, that was pretty good. I think they made a TV series out of it as well.
They did. That was also pretty friggin' good.
See, I'm surprised by that. I would have
Yeah.
thought the TV series would have been just garbage.
Look,
That's how I remember it.
I will say it is fully inconsistent, which means it's consistent with the rest of that series, right? Mm-hmm. But when it hits so good.
Yeah, okay.
The school mascot turning into a monster and just like swallowing people like a wood chipper. Beautiful.
I mean, to be fair, like one of the reasons why I liked Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, it was because it was bad. It was like that kind of like good badness.
It knows exactly what it is.
It was
every
like
time.
the rackety like. Could you call them CGI skeletons? Like what? Like Play-Doh skeletons? I
Oh
don't know
no,
what
they
they're
weren't
made out of.
CGI. They were all sorts. They tried every trick in the book to make those things.
Yeah.
But frequently stop motion.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look real.
You can see in the crowd scenes they all suddenly look a lot beefier, like it's a guy with a skeleton just painted on him.
That's the best.
That's exactly what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in slightly related terms, have either of you seen Hundreds of Beavers?
No.
No, they pull a similar trick in that at some point. I'm not going to explain how or why, but God, do yourself a favour and go watch Hundreds of Beavers and give the creators money. They deserve it. Anyway, away from comedy and back to what had brought the trail boss to the scene of the crime. What terrifying entity had killed him without leaving so much as a mark? Well,
Toast.
a ghost?
Toast.
Toast? Toast?
Yeah.
It's actually what I thought you said, and then he was like, ghost. I'm like, oh, surely that's what she actually said. No. And then he's like, no, it's toast.
Alright, pause the episode
Overdone.
for a moment. How?
He says to the editor.
How does a toast... How did a toast kill someone?
Can I just like jump in for a second?
No.
I'm thinking like an incredibly hard piece of toast, like a Ninja Star.
Ooh,
You know?
I like that.
Sorry,
yeah.
but-
I was
Alright.
going to go full on suffocating.
It's not going to... Oh, okay. Like he's eating the toast.
Yeah.
I just choke.
Suffocated, falling down into the
Actually,
river.
see, that's the normal way to think of it. I was thinking like a piece of toast that somehow has a soul and just like whams itself in his face and suffocates.
Well, that's better than a Ninja Star.
Ninja Star still needs to be thrown to something, but I'm kind of open. I'm pretty partial to this idea that one of the family has possessed a piece of toast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
Which one, though? Father, mother, kids?
I mean, 2 kids?
I forget. Oh, yeah, 2 kids together, like a...
No. I was
Needs 2.
I was
Molly
going to say
and
it was like
Molly.
a son and a daughter, or it was like 2...
Might have been.
Sorry, Steph. What would you like to speculate if it was just like one of... Let's just say, hypothetically, we've got a mum, dad, and a brother and a sister.
It is 2 children, yeah.
Nice. I mean, logically, it should be one of the kids.
Yeah.
Just possessing toast and being weird with it. But, you know, maybe it could have been
They
the
weren't
mum.
even trying to kill him. It's an
Yeah.
accident.
Do you know what? Maybe it was both kids. Like, one either side of the piece. You know,
Yeah.
teamwork.
Yeah. It does make the dream work.
Absolutely.
You know?
Get out of here with your corporate bullshit.
Never.
That's not corporate. That's like my daily motto.
I hate to tell you, Ollie,
I'm pretty corporate.
but you're a corporate cowpoker.
Okay.
No.
No. Immediate regret.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's staying in, though.
Moving right along.
The last cowboy in the outfit died in 1875. Not long after that, the Ghost Riders began to appear on the Neches River. It's 2-for-1 deal, baby.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, so the Ghost Riders are the ghosts of the cowboys that killed the other people that got killed by the ghost.
This is so good.
Is that right? Did I get that right?
I don't know if that was right, but cowboys killed family. Family became ghost. Mm-hmm. Family ghost killed cowboy. Cowboy became ghost.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I intended to say at the very least.
I got you.
That was,
yeah, you're right.
that was so hard not to replace one of those ghosts with toast.
You are welcome.
Specifics of their first appearance have been lost over the years. No one can say what the date was or who had seen them first, but the sighting itself has been preserved countless times in the local folklore. They came just as the sun was sinking low on the horizon, when the immense Texan sky was a scarlet streaked dome and the Neches ran red like a river of blood to the southeast. It may have been a lone local testing the waters with a fishing rod. Perhaps it was a group of ranch hands taking a walk with a bottle of hooch after a hard day of roping and branding.
Side note, this is where the Adelaide accent does not do well. Because you just said ranch hands, and it really should be ranch hands. You know?
Ranch hands.
Ranch hands. Good old ranch hands.
I can't. You heard how bad it was before when it was short sentences of accent. I'm not doing whole paragraphs of that.
Again,
No,
I loved it.
But you make a very good point. It looks and sounds extremely fun to say ranch hands.
Wrestling varmints.
Roping and branding.
I don't think I've actually got
I think that's just two names.
Rupin and Brandon.
Yeah,
Rupin.
sure. If Fuzzy Wumpkins can be a name.
True.
Fuzzy lumpkins.
Whoever it was, we can only imagine the reaction when the ground beneath began to rumble and the whole landscape started to shake. I don't know about you, but I think that's just an earthquake.
Really?
Or a ghost quake.
A toast quake.
Damn it, yes.
Toast rains from the sky.
Cloudy with a chance of...
Toast?
Yeah.
Ghost toast.
I've had dinner and you're making me hungry. Up above on the southern horizon, a group of what looked to be thick red clouds suddenly appeared, moving north at great speed. In the span of a few seconds, the clouds were overhead, and were no longer clouds but a herd of angry cattle driven forward by 12 masked cowboys.
I was really hoping there'd be clouds of blood. But no, they're just cattle.
I like how they took the ghost cattle with them.
Yeah. Did the Texas Longhorns also feel terrible about what they did to their family, so when they died they become ghosts?
Ooh.
Well, the pet psychic, Rob was saying how the pet ghosts will wait for their masters to die and then join them wherever they are. So maybe they were just joining them.
Do you think the cows really bonded with the cowboys over their long journey?
One can hope.
Yeah, forgave them for all the punches.
It's just trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding.
This is where it started.
They roared over the Neches River in a terrible rush, the whole landscape shaking in their wake. And then, in the next instant, they were gone. They vanished suddenly in the dim evening sky, leaving not a trace of their passing. Since that first appearance in 1875, the Ghost Riders of the Neches River has been spotted at least once every summer. Witnessed by thousands of people over the decades, the Ghost Riders have become one of Texas's most enduring folk tales. In 1915, country singer Stan Jones immortalised them in his classic song Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Ah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Is that real?
That song? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm telling you right now, you're currently thinking of the Doors.
Riding in the sun?
Is that right?
Yeah. No.
Riders of the Storm.
Yeah, sure. But no,
That's what you're thinking of.
I
But
was-
this other song does exist.
Yeah. No, it's funny you should say that because, like, it's spot on. That's exactly where my mind went. I started singing that in my mind.
Tell you what, after the episode, we'll play you a bit of it. And maybe I'll splice a little bit into the episode so the listener can get a taste. Depending on copyright laws.
Screw it.
Yeah,
Sure.
He's been dead for like 100 years, who gets it?
I don't think
there
they're
you
coming
go.
for us.
Yeah.
And as years have gone by, the general public has largely forgotten the Riders' ugly origins. Today, the Ghost Riders are associated more with their amazing natural spectacle than their dark past.
So often the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean, when I read it, I was thinking about, I think it's Blues Brothers 2.
Hard
You know
to
what?
say.
If neither of you have ever seen Blues Brothers 2000, that's totally fine. Don't.
I definitely have. Like,
Yeah.
It's been a long, long time ago.
But-
Galaxy far, far away.
But while they're playing the concert, like a bunch of skeletal ghost cowboys come flying through the horizon in the storm above them.
There you go.
Yeah. Quick fact check on that one. Stan Jones was only born in 1914 and released the song in 1948, so I don't know where Dan Asfar got his numbers from there. Anyway, enjoy the original recording.
Ghost riders in the sky.
Well, we'll
So
definitely
I
give it a
think
listen after this.
That's a reference to this.
Do you reckon all, like, because I've seen that imagery a lot, just in general.
True.
Do you reckon it comes from that?
Could do.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
This
We're
is-
reading the first origin story.
this, like, 1875 is a pretty early origin for that imagery. I have not read about anything earlier than that that's similar. I haven't read every ghost story out there that exists in the world, though I have made that my mission, apparently. So, yeah, I'm going to say that's it. That's what it's referencing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do like that imagery. It's pretty
Nevertheless, it is the curse of their evil past that has kept them coming to the Neches River year after year. Their crimson appearance against the setting sun is nothing less than an unholy condemnation, and as long as the Ghost Riders continue to appear, we know that somewhere the Riders continue to pay the price for their earthly iniquities. The end.
We really stopped you from getting to the end there. You just kept...
I think you stopped me from getting to the end of every paragraph along the way. So that's nothing unusual.
That's the joy of the show. Should we do an MVP?
Yes. Well, I'll just check. Does anyone have any other final thoughts before we get to potential MVPs and whatnot?
I thought it was a really great story, and it was interesting to hear more about what the story even inspired as well.
Yeah. I liked that it did a bit of swerve on it. All three of us. When I was reading this, I thought, oh, this is going to be Ghost Family. Nope, turns out Ghost Cloud Cowboys.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point, actually. Despite the actual name of the story, I completely forgot halfway through the episode what was actually happening.
You said Ghost Riders and I was like, oh yeah.
That's right.
All right, shall we cap this sucker off then by checking out MVP? There's not a lot of actual characters
Yeah.
to pick from here.
For me, it's the farmer. That
Farmer?
was that got a couple of shots off before getting the
Stampeded.
rolled over the house.
Cow death.
Cow death.
Beef patty, is that? No.
Beef pattied.
Human patty?
Before the family got beef pattied.
Dad patty.
How about you, Steph? MVP?
You're also allowed to say no, these are all reprehensible jerks. No one deserves an award.
I mean, the farmer does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
That's where I was leaning as well, the farmer. But Was that his land to settle? What was he doing there?
No, but he built a house, so, you know.
Yeah. Across either A, this cowherd's grazing / migration area, or, let's be honest, B, the Native Americans' ancestral home. So,
We all
kind
make
of a dick.
mistakes. Like, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe the haunting actually started with the Native Americans haunting the family.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
The true origin.
I feel like this is a plot in a lot of Supernatural episodes. They're
Yeah.
on some very questionable ground.
Oh, now I want to watch every single Supernatural episode again, up to the end of season 5.
Fair.
After that, it gets...
It gets dodgy, but the characters... Like, I like some of the characters in the later seasons.
Stop it, you. That was a good laugh. Can we get a nice clean one that I can chuck in at the end of the episode?
Do you really want me to do it? Oh, man, I have to do it on command. That is...
I mean, we can all three do it.
Ooh.
This
One
is
command.
This is going to be a disaster, right? 3, 2, 1. Yeehaw!
Great Vincent Price impressions there.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Yeah, I don't think I can't figure out an MVP. To go back to the original question.
Yeah, fair enough. My MVP is going to be jointly awarded to 2 people, and that's the brother and sister puppeting a piece of toast. I'm doing it now. And that brings us to the word awards. Does anyone have a favourite word from today?
Was vomit in there at all?
I don't think vomit was in here, no. You're allowed to just pick vomit, though, if you want.
Well, then
Just
done.
like, you know what, screw it. My favourite is going to be Fuzzy Wumpkins.
That's what
Sorry,
I expected.
character and word.
That's what I expected.
Fuzzy Wumpkins is the MVP.
God darn it!
Wait, I think it's Fuzzy Lumpkins, actually, now that I think about it.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Good.
It's like a get off my property guy. Never watched the Powerpuff Girls, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Fuzzy Lumpkins. Oh, well.
It's not good enough.
No, I'm sorry.
You
Let
should
the-
be watching
let the
Powerpuff
team
Girls.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch some Powerpuff Girls. It's really good.
It is.
Yeah, sorry, where were we, Steph? I think your word award, if you have one.
I mean, Cowpuncher and every iteration of that we did.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to say that my favourite was Ollie's Land Sod.
Lance.
And if I'm not allowed to have that, then I think it's Sodbuster. Mm-hmm. Sodbuster.
That is great.
Well, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this story and our comments upon it. Mm-hmm. Steph, would you like to plug anything? Where can the audience find you?
I am on pretty much every social media platform. I am Steph Heff on pretty much everything. So whatever you use.
Got in there early, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
We just paid for that handle.
Can you pay for handles?
I think you can.
Oh. What if someone's already got it? They just get like pushed out?
Well, that's what I mean. You pay them for the handle.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Or
Okay.
you
Just
sort of.
slide into the...
Yeah. Look, you've got 2 options. First, I'm going to pay you for your handle, and if you don't accept that, I'm going to stampede 3,000 Texas Longhorns over you.
It's a normal progression there, you know.
Yeah.
Clear A to B.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, there's never a C.
They generally always give you the handle, yeah.
But there might be a C next fortnight. Oh, no, I've got a special episode next fortnight ready for Ollie, and he doesn't even know about it.
Uh-oh.
Oh! Here's where I drop in that laugh from before. But I think that'll very much do for today's episode of Second-Hand Haunting. This week's story from Ghost Stories of the Old West by Dan Asfar. Episode edited by Callum Patrick for the Peas in a Podcast Network.